quite negative. The Gorgie Jambo says Steve Clarke has not got a clue. This is as painful as watching Craig Brown's teams. We've got great players and he's not got a clue. The Green Machine says that old Scottish thing comes to mind. We were ranked rotten from start to finish, the same as the last game. Mark says playoff is the only way we can get to the finals, and make no mistake, with more performances like that, we'll be the whipping boys of our group. McTominay's goal doesn't hide that he's the worst player. John, though, says 3 points is all that matters. We've already forgotten about all the
that Ballon d'Or nominee, Scott McTominay.
I know, the worst player on the team.
Yeah.
Scott, John says, we forgot about the performances in the road to Germany. Scott says, dull as the manager, lucky win. And David says, another absolutely shocking performance from Scotland. The home midfield posted missing. So much for Gilmour McTominay playing in Serie A. I mean, they do play in Serie A. Look, it wasn't a great night. No one's pretending otherwise. But
no, I tell you what I wouldn't do is watch that and then raise Billy Gilmour as an issue, because he was the last thing that was an issue in that team. Billy Gilmour adds composure, a bit of craft on midfield. He knows how to keep the ball. He knows how to pass it, distribute it. He wouldn't come into my sights in terms of looking at where we went wrong and what went wrong about that performance tonight. Ben Doak as well. Every time he got the ball,
he was
and
brilliant.
he got his little pistons pumping. That was exciting. That was fun to watch.
Yeah.
I could watch Billy Gilmour all day in the centre of the midfield. But I do accept Mark's point about McTominay. He's looked really off it in the 2 games that we've just come through. We'll need so much more from him and our big players going into these final 2 games. I mean, it's going to get squeaky bum time, that's for sure. Athens to face the Greeks after the way that they played against us for over an hour the other night, and then Denmark come to Hampden. So this is it coming to the crunch time. And I tell you now, as difficult as a watch as these last 2 games have been, I just get this feeling that Steve Clarke, contrary to what one of the guys just said there, he knows what he's doing.
Aye.
He knows what he's doing. And somehow, I think he's going to get us through this. As astonishing as that may seem right now.
No, listen, I completely agree. I'm just reading some of these comments that are coming in thick and fast. This one here from William. William says, no pass marks anywhere in the team. Gilmour gave the ball away more times than anyone else. Doak, no end result. I mean, look, we won the game. I know it wasn't great, but look.
There are some valid points there.
Ben
Doak needs to work on his final ball, that last little bit, and he'll get there. We're talking about a kid. The boy, he's a kid, but he's a great hope for us.
Yeah.
And once he polishes off and those little final aspects, his decision making, once he gets in and around the penalty box, needs to be improved. But he's got everything there in terms of what you want to see in a Scotland player. He loves getting the ball down. He loves running at people. He's pacey as anything, and he causes carnage. So let him grow into the shirt. Let's not give the boy a kicking. He was the one source of enjoyment out there tonight for most of that match. But yeah, these are all aspects that need to be improved. Was it Billy Gilmour's best game in a Scotland shirt? No. Do I think that he influenced the middle of the park? I absolutely do. Do I think that Steve Clarke got the team right? Probably. Because what are your options there tonight? Do you go with Lennon Miller? And do you go with Kieran Dowd? Do you try and get... Well, that sounds great in theory. But Steve Clarke probably had it worked out. He said, this is going to be a harder game than everybody's expecting it to be. They certainly made it look like that. But can you imagine how we'd be feeling right now if he'd thrown the youngsters into that from the start and we hadn't won it?
He'd be getting...
Oh, there'd be absolute dog's abuse flying. So, yes, it's a bit dull in terms of, I know that fans are crying out to see the new guys, but there's plenty of time for Bowie and Lennon Miller to kind of bleed themselves into this. And hopefully, get the enjoyment of representing the country at a World Cup next time.
Aye, definitely. Look, I put it up on the screen just a minute ago that Michelle says crap game, but we got the points. For me, that sums it up. Control Alt Hayes says 3 points up the road. We mentioned earlier on that we are now, here we are, there's a shot at the table as it stands right now. This is obviously ahead of
Now, who doesn't like seeing that?
Exactly. This is ahead of Denmark versus Greece that kicks off in about 25 minutes' time. But unbeaten in the group still, 2 games to go, and the simple arithmetic is win the 2 games, we're at the World Cup.
Unbeaten in the group, Daniel, and that includes starting this group off with the most difficult possible fixture of Denmark away.
Yeah.
And, you know, absolutely, well, I completely understand and sympathise with a lot of the comments, a lot of the disappointment from the nature of these 2 Scotland performances. That board that you've just put up there, that's really all that matters. This is a World Cup, guys. And listen, I'm sure there are people watching this right now that can't remember, weren't alive when Scotland last played at a World Cup. This is monumentally important, and we're right on the cusp now. We've got ourselves into this situation. Steve Clarke and the players have got us into this situation where we're going into next month, 2 more games, win them both, we're there.
And I should say, if Denmark win tonight, then we are...
The least that we can get is a second place finish.
Guaranteed a playoff spot. But as we say, look, you win the 2 games, Denmark's at home. I mean, imagine if we can somehow go to Greece, get a result there. Imagine a shootout against Denmark on the final night at Hampden. I mean, what occasion that would be.
I mean, there's the potential that if we could go to Greece and just avoid defeat,
you're right. You're right.
Then would set us up. Depending on what happens in this game tonight, obviously.
You're right.
It could potentially set us up for a winner takes all game against the Danes at Hampden, and that's not going to be easy. Far from it. But is it impossible for this Scotland side? Absolutely not. As hard as they made that look tonight, and as hard work as it was for us to sit and watch it, they are absolutely capable.